Hey YouTube fam, how's it going? This is Tack with Euro.American.Passion. I'm calling with or not calling, but I'm actually bringing up another update. So I'm actually trying to get the suspension going. So actually, if you have the time, please take a quick little look on this video I'm sending out. Thumbs up, thumbs down, comment, share, subscribe, so you can keep abreast of what's going on with this video. So without any further ado, let me show you what I got going on. All right, well, I'm back. I got my little porter cable here. I'm still running the cutoff wheel there, but I have a steel one that I have to hook up. So bear with me. So what I'm doing is I'm running my steel pipe here just for measure to see how this is going to take out or lay out. One is going to be for 10 inches and the other one's going to be for 9 inches. The 9-inch one is the one that's going to be used for the adjustments. And then, of course, the 10 inches, because of the fact that I'm using Heim joints, will be used to help the adjustment for the 9-inch. So I thought about just going 10 inches on both, but it seems like everything that I've actually done and researched on, it's a little bit easier if you actually have one a little bit shorter than the other. So once again, it's time for my porter cable to start work. So if you don't mind, stand by. All right, I'm on my Yukon setup, and these are my pipes that I've cut. Yes, I know I could went with solid instead of the welded, but I'm going to try this and see how this works out. I don't plan on running a 1,000 horsepower car, but I think it'll be all right. I will be running 2 individual miniature radius arm control arms, and then I'm going to run a big radius arm, and I'm running a larger Heim joint for that one. That's the one that's going to allow these to be able to pivot back and forth, or better yet, to pivot like this. Of course, when it moves about 1/2 of an inch here, it's probably going to be 1 inch to 1.5 inches there. I need a 3-inch swing on this end to accommodate not having to stretch the car. So once again, the Heim joint, that's the beautiful part about this. It's going to go in here, and of course you can see how the Heim joint pivots. So once it pivots this way, 1/2 of an inch up here will give me 1 inch to 1.5 inches here. So 1 inch probably can give me exactly what I need. So I'm just giving you a rough estimate of what I'm under the assumption. So I'm going to continue on, and I'm not going to do a complete weld. I'm just going to tack them pretty good after I get them inside and get things rolling. So if you don't mind, stand by. All right, so I have 4 of these cut, like I was saying earlier. I have to do some deburring right now. Yep, and see, like I said, it's the welded kind, but I'm going to try it. Worst case scenario, this is going to be a trailer queen, so it's going to be well, let me correct that. It's not going to be a trailer queen. It'll be driven, but it's not going to be driven to the point where I would feel that I'm not going to be safe on this. It's 095. I normally go with 0120, or it's going to be 95. I usually go with 120, but I talked to my metal guy, and he said I should be all right with what I'm doing. It's going to be a basic V6 that's going to sound like a V8, but it's just something to kind of give you a little idea of what I'm doing. And then, of course, these are going to be painted and all that. Going to look good. Stand by. I'm going to show you all 4 in a second. Okay, this is what I got. YouTube fam, I'm going to try this. I only have a couple of $100 invested, so worst case scenario, if I can't use the adapters, I'll just buy some more. They're only like 12, 13 bucks a piece. So, but these are the two 9 inches and these are the two 10 inches. And pretty much what I end up doing was, yes, these are Harbor Freight gloves. I get them for $3.99 and it saves me from having to go and buy all the other stuff. I pretty much just deburred everything, including the actual whale. So, and they pretty much slide into a snug fit. So I just take those and I have a funny part is I have a tool that can hold all of this together where it can compress so I can get a better straight. And I also put a little bevel on it just so I can get a good penetration. So stand by. All right, I'm back. And basically all I've done was just tacked. I did a tack weld. Please don't chastise me for my welding. And my tack welds are pretty much just generated for me to put them together and to see how this works out. So once again, this is what I plan on doing. Stand by. I plan on having one here and one here, and they're both going to come out. I made them 3 inches longer to accommodate. They're not going to be like that. They're pretty much going to come out like this on each side. Okay, one is going to be, this one's going to be 10 inches. This one's going to be 9 inches, including the Heim joints. This one will end up being 16 inches, and this one will be 15 inches. Now, the reason why I didn't go with the stock one is because the vehicle or the drivetrain that I'm going with, I got the knuckles as well, so that way I can use the drive shafts or the axles to go into the knuckles. And with the car being 6 inches wider, I went 3 inches wider on the actual track width for the rear of the Fiero. So now it's time for me to show you what I'm going to do with the actual knuckles. Stand by. All right, so this is the 88 Fiero knuckle. And the reason why I'm doing the two independent control arms is because one control arm comes here and goes back to the actual cradle, as well as another one goes here. So those two go back to the cradle. This particular one is for that radius arm. This thing here's got a little weight to it. All right, this goes to the radius arm, which actually pushes back to keep it from the forward to rear motions. These two keep them from going in and out. And then of course you have your standard McPherson strut setup. Well, what I'm going to do is, this particular setup is on a 2010 Nissan Maxima with the VQ35 HE HR, the high rev engine. Well, anyway, I got a complete drivetrain, wire harness and everything. What I'm going to do with this is it will actually work because of the fact that I'm giving this Fiero the same track width as the Maxima, which is a total of 6 inches difference. So the only concern that I'm working on now is, you see how this is at the bottom. I'm actually going to, this is for the tie rod here, and this, I don't remember, but I'm going to cut this off. Oh, I'm sorry, you couldn't see it. I know this is, of course, is the McPherson strut. One is for the tie rod, which that's for the tie rod end. I can't remember if this is the sway bar or not, but this will be cut off to accommodate me having to build something here to give it the illusion of that. And I'm going to show you about this. So basically speaking, I'm going to have to build this to be here. So stand by. This setup is 4 inches from here to here. Okay? Now from here to here, you're looking at roughly about 3 inches. It's not giving you a good example. There it is. So it's about 3 inches. Yeah, the camera doesn't give you any justification. So my whole point is, what I'm going to do is I'm taking one of the strut bolts. I'm only going to use 2. Since these are really strong, I'm going to take it, and it's going here. Okay? Which I'm going to open this hole a little bit bigger so this can come straight down. This is 1/4 inch square tube. I'm going to cut this 3.5 inches. I know this was 4 inches, but I'm going to cut it 3.5 inches because what I have is, let me try it like this. How about that? Because what I have is some 1/2 inch. And actually, I can't do this at 3.5. I'm going to have to do this at 3 because this is 1/2 inch. And I'm going to put 1/2 inch on this side and the other 1/2 inch on this side. So if I cut it at 3 inches, see, that's 1/2 inch. Or even if you want to go this route, that's 1/2 inch. I'm going to start it at this number so you can see. All right. So theoretically speaking, I'm going to cut this, and I'm going to cut 2 of these and put them on each side. But I'm going to cut a hole or drill a hole in each one, and I'm going to take the bolts, and they're not going to be this size. They're going to be 5/8 bolts, and they're going to go through the hole. They're going to get welded on the back side, and that's how it's going to sit for my Heim joint to go on it. It's not going to be that long, but it's going to be long enough to do what it's got to do. So, and I'd prefer to do 1/2 inch because it's going to be a lot stronger. Now, here's the other thing. Once I cut this at 3 inches, and I do the 2 1/2 inches, and I get these pieces to come out, this is strong enough to the point where this, I can cut me another piece of this 1/2 inch and run it down here. and I'm going to make me a little triangle. So it's going to come out and go down. So when it comes out and go down, it gives me more structural integrity instead of just coming straight out. Now, to keep this from moving, all of this is going to be thoroughly welded all the way around. Back here, here, and here. And I'm going to tack something from, I'm going to weld something from here to here to give it more structural integrity. This is not going to move. Now, to get these in here, I'm going to run me a plate, not a plate, I'm sorry, but I'm going to run me an actual tube through here. So it's going to be like a crush tube where it won't crush when I bring the bolt through, because I'm going to run me a nut here. I know I'm talking pretty fast for you guys, but I've already laid it out how I want to try and do it. But if you guys see something that you might not understand, just ask me and I'll definitely be able to give you a heads up. So the way I see it is this is going to be, I don't know if I need to cut it here or if I need to cut it down here, but there's going to be a tube, not a tube, but an actual piece of 1/2 inch that's going to be welded from here to here. I don't need all of this other stuff because there's water under the bridge. But once I get it welded on here is when I'm going to start. By that time, I should have the square tube, the 1/2 inch metal on the 3 inches on each side with the hole to go through, that I can have my bolt to come out and my Heim joint to go in. Okay? Worst case scenario, this is all scrap metal to me, so I can take it and throw it away. But I'm trying to save from having to get custom axles made. Now, here's the catch-22 I want you to see before I truly get signed off. The angle of the struts on the Fiero is the same as the angle on the struts on the actual Maxima. So what I'm gonna have to do is, let me get this moved out of the way. So when I move this out of the way and I show you, I'm gonna have to come back. Remember my control arms were extended 3 inches. So I'm going to have to extend these 3 inches. Now, if I can, because of the fact of the way it tapers down, I'm going to a single bolt to go through, like they do on a lot of the Volkswagens, like the Jettas and the Passats. So, but I don't want those because they're not tall enough. So what I'm going to do is, they're too tall. And I don't want to actually have them so high that the car sticks up like a sore thumb. So I'm going to have to come back 3 inches, and I'm going to have to come back this way 3 inches, because that's the whole purpose of me actually getting this set up, because I want to be able to bring it back 3 inches without having to crack and stretch this cradle. So I'm going to come back 3 inches from here, but I got to come out 3 inches to accommodate the geometry of the strut. So I plan on actually redoing all this over again to explain it to you so you guys can have a better understanding. I hope this was something that was feasible enough for you to understand. My mind runs 1,000 miles a minute when I come up with an idea. Worst case scenario, like I said, it's all scrap metal. You know, if it sits right, and my friend said he can align it and it's strong and structurally sound, the 2.5 Iron Duke will be pulled and replaced for 2010 Nissan Maxima. And I'm also putting in the 6-speed manual from a 2015 Nissan Altima 3.5. So that way I can have the best of both worlds. So guys, just to give you a heads up, I got a lot going on. But with that being said, I continue on and press on. Please give me some comments. I appreciate everyone that look at these videos. I know the content they're not top notch like a lot of the guys that do the big stuff like Goon Squad. I really love those guys. Thumbs up, guys, because you guys rock. You guys give me that. Actually, you guys are the ones that actually gave me the inspiration to do these videos. You and V-Tunes, I really like those guys, as well as what's my other guy? He doesn't deal with cars, but he deals with a lot of the big trucks and tractors. Diesel Creek. All you guys rock, man. Anyway, once again, this is Tack with Euro.American Passion. I'm just trying to give you a heads up, and I'm going to continue to work on this particular car until somebody actually say, hey, I want to see this other Lamborghini Countach or the Reventon or even the Diablo bill. So whatever guys you want to see, just let me know. I'm going to continue to work on it so that way I don't actually get too bored with it or actually mess around and lose you guys' interest. So always remember, this is Tack with Your American Passion. Stay focused. God bless. Peace.